Hi there, this is a trap called Trap My Bishop, Why Don't You? And it's a cute and practical little trap in the Winawer variation of the French defense. After e4 and e6, d4, d5, the French defense, white goes for the classical knight c3, supporting the pawn on e4. And bishop b4 is the trademark move of the Winawer variation, which pins that knight on c3 and adding more pressure to the pawn on e4. Well, white plays e5, closing up the center and so defending the pawn, and black will typically respond with c5, hitting white's small pawn chain, hitting the d4 pawn. White then will play a3, asking a question to the bishop, and the bishop will usually take on c3, and white responds with b takes on c3. Black has several options available, one of them being queen c7, very direct, immediately putting pressure on the c file and those loose pawns or those weaknesses on the c file. White can counter aggressively with queen to g4, which hits the pawn on g7, which is a common theme in the French defense. Well, black will get nothing from taking now on d4, c takes d4, and then if queen takes on g7, queen takes on c3 is check and rook. But after king d1 and queen takes on a1, white takes on h8, and white is winning actually in this variation. So black is going to prefer to defend the g7 pawn, and f7 is perfectly playable, the most common move, but also good is f6. Now the queen on c7 is supporting that pawn on g7. And here a nice try by white. Bishop b5 check, and this is inducing a kind of trap, because black might think he can get something from king f8. The king now is defending that g7 pawn, and this bishop on b5 is sort of out of sorts, out of position, perhaps offside. If white continues with knight f3, black might consider something with the move c4. Well, black will get nothing from queen a5, because that can just be met by rook b1. That's going to be good for white. And also c takes on d4 now would be met by queen takes d4, also good for white. So black can try this move, c4, and now this bishop on b5 is looking a little bit offside. Well, white can continue aggressively and in fact winning with this move a4, because if black presses with a6, now that bishop is really going nowhere. It's white who gets the mate in first with this move, bishop a3, check. King moves up to f7, and now a fantastic move by white. Knight to g5, check. This is going to force the capture of the knight. Black cannot continue with king g6, not because of the move knight takes e6, which is check and wins the queen, rather because of bishop e8 check, which is going to force more or less king h6, and queen h4 is mate. So after knight g5, we're going to have a capture on g5, and white will continue queen h5 check, forcing this move g6, which is a weakness, and now the queen goes back to f3 check. If king to g7, then queen f8 is mate. Black can delay it by one move by playing knight f6 check, but after queen takes f6, king g8, queen f8, that is checkmate. So this has been a trap in the French Winawer variation called Trap My Bishop, Why Don't You? Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.